Thank you guys for watching The Rundown with me, your host, Lily. And today I have with me ClassikMussik. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? Pretty lady.
Um, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. We have him sitting in the car right now because you just wrapped up a video shoot with Bun B, correct?
Yeah, I'm still out here in Houston right now.
Are y'all done with the shoot or you're just waiting on me?
Oh yeah, we done with the we was done with the shoot. I found me a vegan restaurant out here and they got me some food and waiting
Ooh,
to talk to you.
I appreciate that. I really do. So the shoot, was that for a new song that y'all were working on, collabing?
Yeah, it was for my boy Rakim Al Jabbar. He
Mm-hmm.
he got me and Bun. It's weird because me and Bun got a lot of songs.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of songs together on other people's songs,
On
other people's
features.
albums and records, all in Japan and shit. But
Japan.
we also got songs together on his projects too. So
Nice. So basically, this was just a reunion for you today.
yeah, I hadn't seen Bun since probably like last year. Well, actually, since we was locked down last year, I hadn't seen him since 2019. So then it's my boy Rakim's single.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a blessing and experience for all for him for sure. It was just
Yeah.
dope to be a part of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really dope because that's Bun B is an OG in the game. So
Right,
that's amazing.
right.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it back a little bit. Tell us how
Oh,
you
it's
got
back.
started singing. You know, so when you were younger.
um, right. I get it. I like the terminology there. I'm a Scorpio, so I catch shit like that.
Yes,
Um,
I know.
um, I started doing music when I was I say this. I started singing when I was about 5. My
Mhm.
people didn't know I could sing, and one day I wrote a song called TWO, and I was like, I had just like really got in tune to Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder. I loved them. It was
Mhm.
my favorite artist before anybody. And so I put me some shades on and start picking on the piano and wrote this song called TWO. And
Mhm.
I really got scared half to death when they heard me singing. My mama and my grandfather started screaming to the top of their lungs, and I thought I was gonna get a whooping. I thought
I
I
couldn't
did some
believe
shit I
it.
ain't had no business doing. And it went from that to them bribing me to sing at church to singing at a couple Kirk Franklin midnight musicals, and
Wow.
just when I turned around about 12, I wrote my first album, which was a gospel album, and I
Mhm.
couldn't get it produced because at the time I didn't make beats. Um, so
Wow.
I started making beats, and I started making beats for Devin the Dude, and I didn't really do the gospel thing. I was trying to, but
Right.
the energy and bad vibes I got from trying to get them to help me made me sway away from it. It made me not even want to be a part of it.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't think it would be for me to be so young and to be trying to do that for God and what I
Right.
was talking about and trying to bring love and all this different stuff to get the nastiness I got from the church. I was just like, you know what? Y'all can have that. I'ma still jam me some Shirley Caesar, some Karen Clark and all that,
Yeah.
Rance Allen, but I don't want to be a part of it. I'm just gonna let them motivate me and leave it alone at that.
Yeah. It made you sway away from it. Wow.
Yeah, but I was making beats for Devin the Dude. That same year, I started making some beats for Devin the Dude through one of my partners named Trouble.
Mhm.
Was cool with his brother, and shit, I started sending him beats through his brother.
Okay. Now, would you say that was like your first big break
Professional.
into the industry?
I would say that was my first. I didn't know who Devin was back then.
Mhm.
I knew his name, but I didn't know how legendary he fucking was then.
Exactly.
Um, so it was more of like my introduction into the professional side of music,
Hmm.
but I still wasn't like I was making beat. I wasn't getting paid for the beats. I was just happy to be doing beats for somebody with a name.
Right. Some
So
exposure.
young, yeah. Some way, years went by and I still was able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I say about I say about from that point till I was about 14,
Hmm.
people really that's when really people really start trying to buy my beats and then even buying my songs. One of my mentors, Daryl Delight Allenby, he wrote All My Life, Casey and JoJo,
Oh
uh,
wow,
If I Rule the World by Nas,
those are big
and
hits right there.
Lauryn Hill, Gonna Make with Busta Rhymes and the Jackson. Like, he got so many number one hits. It's ridiculous. Uh,
Yeah.
he was trying to buy my songs for me for
Mm.
Silk and for Link when I was about 14. So it's like it just things just kind of took off once I
This
made
was
up in my
made for
mind. I'm not gonna.
you.
Yeah, you know what? Once I made up in my mind, I'm not gonna wait on nobody for my dream. Things just took off. As long as I stop it, as soon as I stop asking for help and just start, all right, well, I don't know how to make beats. I'm gonna make them. Cause I was already a
Mhm.
drummer, so I was like, fuck it. I'll start over. I'm young anyway,
Wow.
and it just seemed like it just worked out.
Yeah, you're using all aspects of your gifts. So you sing, you songwrite, you were a drummer. Did you play any other instruments?
I played drums, piano, and keyboard. You know, drums, piano, and guitar. And I also engineer all my own music, mix my own
Mhm.
songs. I do most of the shit myself. I try not to say it too much because, as we know, in this day and time, the more you say you, people get mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
People people seem to can't stand you
When you're
when you don't need
self-sufficient.
nobody help and you ain't got to really break bread with nobody. People can't stand you for that type of shit.
Wow. Yeah, that's a quadruple more than that effect because you can do everything. So you don't have to depend on anyone. You're self-sufficient with everything.
That's
So
the crazy part. That came from not being able to depend on anyone.
so
If
it kind of
somebody would have
forced
helped
you to
me, I
that.
probably not would have been able to do it.
Yeah. It kind of forced you to go ahead and just do everything independently. That's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
hell yeah.
So we know, or I know, you had a little bit of time as far as songwriting with Jamie Foxx. Tell us how that came about.
Um, one of my one of my partners, man, he was my manager. We never did no paperwork, but he was like, you know, my man, we went through a lot together. For the
Yeah.
time I was probably like 15, 16. When I was homeless, man, we roamed the streets together, just put it like that. And I ended up living with him. And that was my manager, man. We kind of grew in this business together. And like the first music I was putting out around Dallas, where certain people around Dallas remember me from back then, from listening to my shit. They
Hmm.
was like, a lot of women around Dallas was like, Classic was our Pretty Ricky, because before it was
Yeah.
a such thing as Pretty Ricky, they was listening to my sex songs and shit. I'm a little young ass teenager making these freaky ass songs, and
Yeah.
these chicks was going crazy. So it was crazy because me and him was off and on, like we was falling out because we also men, and then we was dealing with the street. So it would put a tamper, on the music side of things. So personally, we would fall out. It was always
Yeah.
love, but we fell out, and then we picked things back up. And when we picked things back up, he came at me to do a song with Drake, and I actually passed. I didn't know who
What?
Drake was.
At the
You know
time.
what's crazy? Well, because he came at me like, man, it's a guy who do what you do. He
Mhm.
rap, sings, shit. So I'm like, shit. At that time, I'm trying to hold on to the little bread I got. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna pay for
Yeah.
no artist to do what I do. He got to be better than me. And it's crazy because that nigga blew the fuck
Man.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It went from it went from Drake to, man, Jamie Foxx heard the song, bro. He finna record it with him and Jennifer Hudson. He wants you to come down here and let's do the song. So
Wow.
I went down there and yeah, and as soon as I got to Jamie's door, literally I'm passing up Bentleys and Rolls Royces and shit. It's so many people there. Before I could even get to the door, I seen P. Diddy. I seen so many French Montana. He wasn't even the French Montana the world know right now.
Yeah.
Um some members of Destiny Child, so many actors, so many
Wow. That
comedians.
is
And this nigga, in
crazy.
the middle of all of these people, he starts singing, "This love, I could climb a mountain." The song I wrote. He starts
Yeah.
singing this shit to me in front of everybody.
Singing
He
your
didn't
stuff
introduce
to
it.
you.
Yeah, the song I wrote. He didn't even introduce it. Said, "Hi, I'm Jamie Foxx." He didn't do none of that shit. He started, "This love I could climb a mountain." He
That is
started singing to me.
amazing. Oh my God. Yeah. I felt
Yeah,
that.
it was surreal because when I was a kid and I was homeless, I used to we used to get to the shelter right by a certain time, and we could only have enough time for each child. It was four of us to watch one TV show.
Hmm.
So we all got accustomed to certain shows, but we all liked the Jamie Foxx show. So, but that was also my show. On the weekdays, I watched Jamie Foxx. On the weekends, I watched I Love Lucy. So to go from that to go from that to living with the nigga, I was like, fuck.
Wow.
The
So
the
you lived
universe
with
got.
him.
Yeah, I lived with him from 2012 to 2015.
Wow. How was that? Because you're in house.
Yeah, I was his in-house producer. I did my old records. I wrote most of the records. Really all of them. Any records that we worked on. It was other people like Brains and Tyron Turner came from Minister Society that would try to pitch in, on lyrics and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Even Katie Holmes. I wrote a song with Katie Holmes for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow.
She was even pitching in on lyrics and shit. So,
That's big.
it was supposed to be like a compound where we work. And
Mhm.
of course, Hollywood is a weird place, man. Like it's a place where business like business move pretty fast. So
Yeah.
uh he going off to do movies. I'm working on the music side. So we didn't really get to spend a whole bunch of time around each other, but the times we did, I learned a lot of different things, good and bad. Just put it like that. Bad about the industry, great about the industry,
Right.
and good things about life too. So I mean, it was a definitely a amazing experience for my life. I was never the same after being there.
I can imagine. So after that,
Yeah.
what brought you back to Texas after that? Or did you go back to Texas after that?
Well, my dad got sick. So I came back at the end of 2014 because my to visit here, and my dad was sick, and I stayed for a while, and
Hmm.
he ended up passing away, and I came back for good
Hmm.
to look after my mom's, and shit, I just didn't go back. I just stayed down here and
Yeah.
just try to work like that. But California be kind of out of sight, out of mind. Them motherfuckers want to see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to
Face
be
to
right there
face.
because there's nothing like the vibe you can get when you create. Now I've been in the studio where the vibes can be so sensitive and amazing to where somebody could fart and fuck the whole shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, like those are the studio vibes that you can get can be so high where you can just really create any fucking thing.
Yeah.
My
The
I
energy.
learned yeah, I learned to master my creative process. I don't have to really write no songs because my creative process is based off of me opening my heart and opening my mind and letting everything I've experienced just kind of float in the air, and I just pick the shit as I see it
Right.
and as I feel it. So, but the only downside to that is if I'm singing about somebody breaking my heart, I gotta feel it, and my heart gonna be broke all over again.
Yeah.
All day long, I'll be feeling like that, and I gotta heal from that shit all over again too.
Hmm.
And if I'm
You
talking
gotta
about
feel your
sex,
way through.
yeah. And if you're writing a song about sex, it's like shit. You can't get that demon off you. You gotta go. You gotta go try to do something. you like
You gotta
when
go
I write
fulfill
songs, it's
it.
you gotta go. You stuck there. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like that for me. I really create from impulse and from experience. So I can't fake none of it. You know what I mean? In
Yeah.
California, being out there with Fox taught me to really understand how important I am and who I am. It gave me a perspective on my difference, where I stand in music, where I stand with my talent, and where I stand in my destiny to be amongst those kind of people, and to
Right.
to to hold myself accountable, and hold myself esteemed. Because I used to just be so humble to where, the dictionary says the word humble uh, is to dumb yourself down and let others go before you,
Hmm.
and to have low worth for oneself. And some people believe in the Bible, and the Bible tell you the meek shall inherit the earth. They actually don't speak too much about the humble. So I came
Yeah.
to the conclusion that that's a negative word, and that's when you think about it, that's a lot of the reason why certain things for me now I'm not as big popular wise. People know my name everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You can go to any state in the U.S. Somebody heard of me, but I'm not super popular because I didn't catch on to the bragging wave, to the taking pictures wave. When I took
Yeah.
pictures and videos, it was for my memorabilia for myself. It wasn't for
Other
bragging
people.
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then when I was coming up in the music, that shit was frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? Like you in people personal houses or personal space, they don't want to take no pictures like you a groupie and shit. So I had to figure out just kind of how to, be around some people that I admire and not be like, fuck, man, are you really like the motherfucking movies or TV?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And kind of just let these people be people. But it taught me, well, man, they human just like you. You can be them, you can surpass them, or you can be right there rubbing shoulders with them. You just gotta believe that you're supposed to be here. And it did that for me. It's crazy because I had a deal with Universal, and I went to a meeting with my lawyer, Gannon Hicks, and
Mhm.
I had just did a deal with them. They gave me some thousands like in advance on
Mhm.
the deal, and my dad died in the meeting.
Wow. Oh my God.
I had just Yeah, I had just left him. I gave him like a whole bag of Snickers, and I gave my mom a whole bag of Twix because they both were asleep while I lived. I was taking care of them, and I went to the meeting. And for some reason, I had like a deep sleep, like coma kind of thing come over me, and I fell asleep in my car waiting on
Uh-huh.
my lawyers to get out of court. And then they was having a meeting. They came down there. They thought I was late, but I was down there. So somebody seen me. They came down there and woke me up, and my phone was dead. When I got
Oh my God.
upstairs in a meeting, and I plugged my phone up against the wall, and it kept going off. And when I looked, they was like, "Go ahead and check it, man, so and so we can get back to the meeting. It's all to the good. It's just us type shit." I went and
Yeah.
checked it, and my sister had messaged me that he died, and
Oh my
this is my
God.
grandfather. But yeah, so I broke down in front of all them dudes, in front of all them professional people. So I think
Yeah.
I probably scared the shit out of
Yeah.
them.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that is horrible. I can't even imagine. I know exactly how you feel with losing a grandfather and somebody who's close to you. Wow.
yeah,
So
man.
how
It's
did
no
you kind of heal from that, or were you able to complete the meeting? Like, how did you get through that?
nah. They didn't want to complete the meeting because it was too. I
Emotional.
think they probably felt like it was too damaged or something. So
Yeah.
um we they was like, shit, I couldn't function. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I'll come back. And shit, they didn't want to give me no more money because I think they thought I was finna like probably take the money and bury my grandfather, which was my father,
Uh huh.
bury him with it or make the wrong decisions because I was grieving. And so we just
Wow.
kind of concluded our business, and what we was doing was matching Universal. We had a Universal A&R come down to meet, and we was telling them what we had versus basically what they would match and use their machine, and I
Hmm.
didn't get to do it. You know what? I still was motivated enough to put the album out by myself. So
Yeah.
it was called Genius and Karma, which is the first professional, all the way professional music that I released to the masses.
Yes.
And I dedicated it to him. So
Oh, yeah. I was gonna ask you that. Was that like in memory of him? Gave you the motivation to keep pushing to go ahead and put that album out on your own?
you know what? Cause he used to be mad at me selling my songs to everybody. He was like, man, keep your shit.
Yeah.
Like literally those words. He's like, man, you too good to be making everybody else sound good. What about you?
Mhm.
When it's all said and done, they gonna remember their name. What about your name?
Look, Grandpa was right, and that's what ended up happening. You ended up putting it out on your own. So
Yeah,
that was like a
and I ain't stopped. I've been dropping music ever since, and my name been getting bigger and bigger. And so many people
yeah.
around the world won't deny. Like if you ask anybody that have heard my music, they all got the same different takes from my music, but they all agree that my talent is undeniable. And most of them say I'm like one of the most talented people.
Yeah.
to them. I'm blessed beyond measures to even hear people say any of that shit.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people want out of their music that they put out. So that's not always the reaction with some people, but that's a blessing right there. Um,
Yeah.
and I know that recently, well, this is 2021, 2019, you put out Side B, or you put that out 2020?
2019, I dropped Burnt Bridges
Okay.
1.
Okay.
And then 2020, I backdoored with Side B.
Mm-hmm.
And then 22, I'm dropping Burnt Bridges 3.
Mm-hmm. So we
I'm
can,
recording for that now. I got some crazy shit on there.
hey, we can't wait for that because you give us like that sexy music vibe, that Valentine's Day every day type music.
Hey, Ben, if a woman, if you was my wife, Valentine's Day would be every day. I'm like a real romantic, hopeless romantic type of person. I feel
Yeah,
like we shouldn't wait to those fucking days anyway to love each other. That shit's bullshit.
I agree.
I don't wait. I don't wait till Christmas to give gifts. I don't wait
Mhm.
on Valentine's Day to bring lingerie and hearts and candy and shit. That shit's every day.
Yeah.
Motherfucker get tired of a woman to get tired of me. I
I
don't
don't
love.
think so.
I done love some people so much to where they thought they started trying to find shit wrong with me. Like
How do you do
too
that?
good, like you too good to be true. Like something wrong. This nigga ain't all. Look, Tyler Perry got motherfuckers going crazy.
No, seriously.
Yeah, he got
Seriously.
some
Oh
people.
my
He got
God.
some people losing their goddamn mind. Something wrong with this nigga. He ain't just all good. I'm waiting. They waiting on the
Right.
bomb to drop. It ain't no bomb. The bomb comes in where I start to feel like I'm not appreciated because they so focused on what I could do wrong and not
Mm-hmm.
appreciating and focusing on what
What
I'm
are you
doing
doing?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I put that in my music. But this new CD, I'm focusing more on relationships, life, and change and pain.
Hmm.
I'm kind of not doing no more street shit. I don't want to do no more street music, man. That shit is.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to be a part of the streets nowadays. So
Yes, we're gonna jump back into it. Y'all didn't see it, but we've having some connection issues. But it's all good. Um, so just real quick, just fill us in on what you have coming up 2022. Because I know you have a new album dropping, and then just give us your social media handles, and we will wrap this thing on up.
new album, Burn Bridges 3, parentheses 1187. You know, so which was the year? It's an important year. Um, that's dropping February 22nd, 2022. And I got I'm working on some joint projects in the works. Me and Lil Ronnie Mother F, we spoke a couple times about doing a joint project that's in the works. Me and Killer Calleon from H Town, we spoke about doing a joint project as well that's in the works. So I got
Okay,
a lot going on.
nice.
And then I got a lot of songs I wrote for a lot of different celebrities, different artists that should be dropping soon. So I mean, I feel like this year will be possibly one of my biggest years. And I plan on finding me a wife this year.
Uh, wink, wink.
I'm
Okay,
doing my
okay, I
best.
see you. We will be looking forward
Yeah, I
to
don't want to
both of
be.
those.
Yeah, I don't want to be. I don't want to get famous and then try to find love. I don't think I would ever trust anyone.
True. That's a good thought to have.
Yeah.
Somebody who's gonna
So
ride with you before the fame. That's how you go.
yeah, you see, you got to be careful what you ask for because I used to pray like God, don't let me find no wife and don't let people rock with me only because I'm somebody. And you know what? I also had to think about that. So the other day I was like, well, God, don't let my first question to you, my first thing I asked you for, hold me back either, because
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
be held back on account of what I asked you. But
Right.
if it's a way to work them both out, hey, you are God, so you can do. If you parted
All
that Red Sea,
things.
you can part this shit for me too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
All
I'm trying to
things.
work the business. Yeah, so I'm trying to work the business side of classic music out and the personal side at the same time. Oftentimes, the business have taken away from my personal life, but you only live once.
It does.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's
So
true.
I'm
Live
trying
it
to
to
make
the
my
fullest.
legacy and my name as a father. Say that again.
I said live it to the fullest.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my legacy and my name as a father and as a husband, as a brother, as a son, everything line up with each other and just be the
Right.
greatest person I can be.
All right. Well, I know you can. We'll be waiting on the new album, new projects coming from Classic Music. Give us your social media handles real quick.
You can reach me at any social media, any music streaming site. ClassicMussik, no spaces. That stands for Classic Music, and you can find me on anything. Just follow when you hear a nigga get on there and say, "Oh yeah," that's me.
That's you. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on the rundown. You guys go follow him, check out the music. It's dope. Push you in another mood, trust me. But thanks for joining us. We are
Thank you.
out. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.